Michael, welcome to Locked In. Thank you to Jimmy McGill, who was a guest on the show last year, and Prison to Purpose is the name of his podcast, and he has you out here promoting for him. The shirt does look great on you, by the way.
Thank you.
We got to meet yesterday at the Next Step Recovery Housing. Can you tell people what that is?
It's a recovery house, and what it is to me, it's a place that's saving my life right now. I've come from a place where people, man, just don't want to see you do good. And ever since I've been there, everybody wants to see me do good, and they love me, and they show me more love than anything I know. It's just a good place right now.
How long have you been there for?
50 days.
I'm telling you, it was really inspiring walking through there yesterday. It reminds me a little bit of a halfway house, but a nicer version. I don't want to insult Jimmy or anything, but it was really nice. And just seeing the energy there and getting to know all of the stories and just, walking through. And then it was a really special moment last night speaking in front of the whole group. Can you describe what that setting was like, who was there and whatnot?
At the group last night?
Yeah, at the group, who those people were.
Well, it was Safe Haven Girls, and it was Next Step Recovery guys. And, of course, Chrissy and Jimmy McGill got to be there watching us, But it was good. Even in AA today, a girl was bringing you up, how just your story helped her, you know what I mean? And that's awesome that somebody's story or something like that can help somebody.
Do you think that inspired you at all to share your story?
It did, because you walked to the house and I told you no. I shut you down on it. And after hearing you last night, it kind of helped me.
That's awesome. Yeah, so, there's a real power, especially when you've come from places like you've come from that the audience will hear about. It's so inspiring because there's so many people out there that had that mentality or still have it of, I would never do that. And you gave a great reason of why you were hesitant to do that. If you could, share with us what that reason was.
Because like I told Jimmy, I got 1 foot in recovery right now, and I have 1 foot still in the streets. So, certain things, I don't talk about because I don't know if I'll end up back in prison one day or not. That's what my mindset is right now. So, so there's certain things I don't feel comfortable doing,
Sometimes it's good to step outside your comfort zone, what you're doing today. Yeah. Now we're in Arkansas right now. We're in an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, Clarksville. Yep. It's hard to even get an Uber out here. I was trying to get a rental car earlier, and everyone is sold out. I guess they only have a couple cars at each location. Did you grow up here at all? Are you from here?
I grew up. I was born in Fort Smith and raised in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Okay, and that's like an hour from here.
Yeah, about an hour.
Is that bigger than Clarksville or smaller?
Yeah, it's way bigger.
Like a big city vibe?
Yeah, it's second biggest city in, I think, Arkansas or something.
Is Little Rock the first biggest city?
Yeah.
Okay, so Little Rock's the capital, right?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. And what was that like growing up? Did you have your mom and dad in the picture together?
At first, my mom's always been in the picture. She's still in the picture today. She's probably one of the best things in my life right now. My dad was there when I was little, and I never seen him, until I got older. He tried to be a part of my life, and I just didn't want it. I had too many memories of when I was little. My mom grew up, a little kid watching your mom get beat on, and by your dad, and not be able to do nothing, made me hate him. So I didn't let him be a part of my life until 5 or 6 years ago, and then I got mad at him. I wouldn't talk to him no more, and he just died a couple months ago, So I got to go in there and get that closure with him, and, that's what brought me into recovery is that,
Do you think if you never had that closure with him, you wouldn't have gotten into recovery?
I really do, because, I got to go in there and tell him I forgive him and I love him. And he said that's all he'd been waiting on, and he sat up the next morning and died. And it broke me. It really broke me, like, for 2 months after that, I was praying somebody would murder me so I didn't have to kill myself. You know what I mean? I just didn't care. And then after ODing a couple times in a week, I went and put myself in rehab. First guy to ever graduate to rehab, first guy to ever walk into rehab, Horizon in Boonville, Arkansas. And I went to an ASAP concert, and I went up to Chrissy and them at the table, and I was standing up there, you know, fighting for a bed in their house. And they just seen that I wasn't leaving and I was fighting for it, you know what I mean? And they said, well, how about we put you on the couch? I said, I'll sleep outside if I got to, you know? Then it kind of fell through, like they couldn't put me on the couch, so she said she'd put me at the top of the list. I went home and got a job, got 2 checks, and relapsed. Found myself in a motel room with a big shot of fentanyl fixing to end my life. Chrissy called. She kept her word. She put me at the top of that list. Then a counselor from rehab's wife come to that motel room, and she messaged me about that time that I was, you know, she said, could I come see you? I don't know what made me let her come see me. But I did, and she kicked back to trapped out of that motel room. I didn't even want to be in there. It's just shady. But she kicked back on that bed, and she said, I ain't leaving. You can go home with me, or I'll stay the night here with you. And I went home with her, and I got up in here, and Chrissy called me and told me to come the next day. She wanted me Monday, but she said, found out what happened, and she told me to be up there Saturday. It saved my life. You know, so I was just at my end, you know. I felt like I was so weak-minded I couldn't make it 2 weeks. So
Was that the first time you experienced people actually caring about you? Like to that level that wanted to help you do better and change your life and get clean?
Yes. Besides my mom, yeah. But, you know, my mom the past year, you know, she's the biggest thing in my life. And she told me she didn't deserve it. Her and my brothers didn't deserve to see me like this no more. And it hit hard. So, you know, I didn't go around her the whole year, you know. So I might have seen my mom a couple times in a year. So at that point, I didn't have nobody showing me nothing, you know what I mean? And then Angie, Chrissy, even Jimmy, you know, and they showed me, you know, they gave me what I needed.
He's got a lot of love for you.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, did you have a sibling at all, brother or sister?
I had 4 sisters, no brothers.
4 sisters?
Yeah.
Wow. You were the only
They just
boy.
say they know how to fight.
Are you the youngest or oldest?
I'm the second to oldest.
Okay. Were you guys close?
Yeah, all of us was real close until we got older. 2 of my sisters real bad in addiction, you know. I wasn't at the time. I went to prison when I was younger. Got out. Got a job in the oil field. Was doing good. I didn't even start doing drugs till I was 33. My sisters were bad in addiction, so that's when we kind of dipped off because I didn't understand it at the time. And I didn't even let my sister come to mine and my wife's wedding because she was getting high and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that eats me up today, you know, is because look at me today, you know. So the tables turn.
Mm. And that goes to show it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you walk a mile in someone else's shoes before judging, that's very powerful.
Yep.
That's interesting, though, that you became addicted to something so late in life. Did your parents struggle with any addiction issues?
No. No. I didn't grow up with me and my sister didn't grow up around our parents struggling with addiction. Hmm. We didn't grow up a good life, but our mom raised us the best she could, you know. We didn't have a bad life.
What'd she do for work?
She married my stepdad, and he owned a roofing business, so she really didn't work. She stayed home with us, you know, but she was strict. Well, now I know, like, I look back and I think, dang, Mom been preparing me for the penitentiary my whole life. She knew something I didn't know. You know what I mean? Grounding me to my room or something like that, you know?
How do you think she would describe you back then as a kid?
My mom was a boy, so I never backtalked my mom or you know, even showed, like, I just loved her, you know. And, I mean, I got in trouble at school and stuff like that, but, I mean, I never even got in trouble with the cops till I was 17 years old.
I mean, everyone gets in trouble at school, you know? You
know,
didn't have a real school experience if you didn't get in trouble. What was the first time you got in trouble for with the cops?
Well, I said 17, I got sent to Job Corps, and I was coming home on weekend passes. I know it sounds stupid, but I was coming home on weekend passes, and I was getting taking weed back up to Job Corps because, you know, I could make some money up there, you know? And, well, we was walking. I walked over to get some, you know, got high and was walking the railroad tracks back, got hungry, so there's lights off in the house and went up, the back door was unlocked, so I was in there making me a sandwich when the cops pulled up. So I got that breaking and entering charge in possession, you know, so that was the first time I got in trouble.
And do you go to jail for that prison?
Yeah, they sent me to RPF. It's like I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's not really prison, but it's a punishment facility. It's like a daycare for guys, really. And I did 120 days there. And I got out and stole a car and did some other stuff and ended up back in real prison, you know, so. I'm
surprised they didn't give you like a probation or something, like a diversion.
That's what everybody said. I just didn't get lucky like that.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been worse for you if you did get something like that?
Probably. Probably.
Get out from that program and you're stealing cars, getting into trouble.
Yeah, I'm working with my dad roofing houses and stuff and still trying to, I don't know what kind of life I was trying to live, but, you know, keys were in it. It looked like the thing to do. So, you know, I stole this car, drove it off in the river, got caught, and they sent me, they gave me 6 years ADC.
And that's the max in Arkansas, or?
That was a max on that.
Okay.
You know, I guess.
And like a max security prison.
Oh yeah, I ended up down there in Varner at a maximum security prison. You know, I've never got the chance to go to a medium secure prison, like. But yeah, it is a max.
And this is your first time in a real prison.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Well, it's back in the early 2000s, you know. When you walk in there, there's only 5 or 6 white guys in the barracks. What can you think? Like, it's scary. When anybody says it ain't, it's lying to you. You know, especially for a 160-pound white guy walking in there, ain't never been in there before. In one of they call it gladiator school, Varner's gladiator school. So, you know, it was scary. There wasn't a day in there that wasn't scary for me.
And did you have tattoos at the time or no?
No.
So you had nothing. You're just a young, early 20-year-old white kid walking in there.
Yeah.
Why are whites a minority there?
Back then it was that it's not that way no more because of meth, but back then I don't know.
Now, what were mostly people there for? What kind of charges?
Varner was a lot of rape, murder. Varner was like the worst of the worst, you know, and it's just the luck of the draw that that was my home unit, you know what I mean? That's where I've always gone back to. You know, there's times I would call my mom and tell her I love her, you know what I mean? That if I didn't make it through the night, I love her, you know? That's how scary that place was.
And is it scary because of other inmates, gangs, or why is it so violent there?
Not right. Yeah, it's just the other inmates. You know what I mean? You know, like back then they didn't have nothing for a white guy in there. You know what I mean? If you were white, you were
on your own.
Yeah. And that's back before I figured out the whole affiliation and all that stuff, you know.
So none of that existed there at that time?
It existed, but it wasn't big like it was just getting its feet off the ground back then, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't many bros and stuff like that back then.
So do you think that there was a way, if the criminal justice system did it right, to never have that type of lifestyle in the prisons? Like if there was a period of time where it never existed, couldn't there have been a way for it to never exist?
I don't think so.
You think it was doomed
Yeah.
and it was going to be that way regardless?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't exist, you know, because the gangs I'm talking about are Arkansas gangs, you know, like War, NAE, you know, they were just really getting started. You know, there's been always gangs in the penitentiary, but these Arkansas gangs were just really getting started, you know. So when I first went down, that wasn't even a thought in my head, you know, it's getting affiliated.
What was going through your mind? Just trying to make it through?
Trying to survive, you know, make it home, you know. Not only did you have to worry about inmates, you had to worry about the guards. You know what I mean? You know, it's just tough times, you know, down there. And then for a white guy, that's all I could say about that.
So on the 6-year sentence, how long do you end up doing that first bid?
I ended up doing 2 years of it. A little over 2 years, probably. I was supposed to go home in a year, but it's just impossible in Warner, you know. But I went home probably 2.5 years, I think, back then.
And what happens after you get out?
I went to work, you know.
Back for your stepdad?
Yeah, and then I got in a little more trouble and stuff, but it didn't get me sent back. And I was actually doing community service, and a guy who worked in the oil field gave me a job and saved my life, man, from going back to prison for a lot of years. For 9 years, I worked in the oil field, had a wife, kids, house, had anything I wanted, you know. And then I thought I made all the money, I'd do what I want, you know what I mean? She stayed home with the kids and just treated her like crap, ended up losing her, and everything went downhill from there.
Wow. So you literally transform your life, which most people aren't able to do in your 20s. You get it, you get married,
Yep.
and then it hits you.
Yep.
What do you think was that actual moment that really was the deciding moment to go down that path?
I guess after she moved to California with my boys, I just kind of gave up on everything, you know. It broke me, you know. That was my breaking point right there. I ended up losing the job in the oil field a little bit later, and I think I've caught a robbery charge, or I don't know what to something. I caught an aggravated assault on her, actually. She caught me cheating, and you know what I mean? I was pissed about it. That's what really ended it all. She caught me cheating and doing what I want to do, you know. I thought I made all the money. I'll do what I want to do. And ended up catching an aggravated assault on her, and that was a breaking point. Because, you know, I watched my mom get beat on, so for me to turn into my dad, it killed me, you know, like, it broke me.
Why do you think you followed in his footsteps when you look back on it now? And, you know, you have these years of reflection and meeting people in prison and sobriety. Why do you think that was? Were you unhappy? Was there, you know, other feelings and emotions going on in your mind?
I don't know. Why do you think would you ask why I followed in his footsteps?
Yeah.
Man, because I really don't know. I want to sit here and say, man, because I watched it my whole life, you know what I mean? I thought that's what was right, but I know better than that, you know. I don't like being told what to do or you know, I want to do things my way, you know what I mean? And I think that's what made me like that.
Why did you turn to drugs at that time, too? I know you went back to crime, but why drugs?
Believe it or not, I didn't even turn to drugs till I got in county jail. That's when I really got bad on drugs. We were knocking windows out, county jail, pulling up sacks of, you know, we were just like, get the whole barracks high, you know what I mean? That way nobody tell on us. Make people didn't even want to get high, so they wouldn't go tell on us, you know? And it slowed down from there. I got sent to prison, and it was just too easy to get, you know? And that's where a turning point on drugs was in my life. Like, I started doing drugs in county jail.
What kind of drugs were accessible to you?
Meth.
It was that easy to get meth back then?
Yeah. What's crazy is I don't got to, in prison, I don't got to run around and look for it. I don't got to run the streets and look for it. It comes to me in there, you know? It's just easier to get high in there than what it was.
Yeah, that's how it is in the feds, too. You get whatever you want.
But it's miserable. You know what I mean? When I think back, I don't know why somebody want to put themselves through that. Who wants to be in a barracks with 50 guys high, wigging out? It ain't no fun.
Now, did you have one long prison sentence after that, or is it just in and out your whole time?
I've been 7 times, but yeah, my last trip was 4.5 years. I was supposed to go home in 10 months. I made parole. A week from going home, I get knocked off, and I end up doing 3 and some. How many of them more months? I did 4.5 years. I did 3 of it in the Supermax, 24-hour lockdown. That was a breaking point in my life. Like, not getting out of that cell, but 4 or 5 times in 3 years. You know, nobody to talk to. It's just like back there. It's just like, what's the point of life? You know what I mean? What? And I got 2 1-year denials back there. You know what I mean? So I didn't think I was going nowhere. So many a times I climbed to the top of my book bag. You know what I mean? Sheet around my neck. You know what I mean? Just couldn't go through with it. You know. And it affected me when I got out. I forgot how to carry on a conversation. I was antisocial. I didn't want to be around nobody. I got to my mom's. I would just pace back and forth and tell my mom I want to go home. Mom's like, you are home. I'm like, no, I want to go home. You know, so all that time in the Supermax just really affected me.
Do you think prison and these Supermaxes create that environment for someone like yourself to, you know, get affiliated with a gang, even though that wasn't your upbringing? I mean, you had for the most part a decent family with good morals, and you worked hard and you built a life for yourself. You're not, you know, by textbook someone that would ever go down that path.
What made me get affiliated was being able to get a fair fight down there. You know what I mean? Not getting jumped. You know, they showed me more love than I felt in a long time in my life. You know. They just feel it. They feel something that I was missing at that time. You know what I mean? If I could go back and do it today, I would have never went down that road.
You were vulnerable.
Yeah.
How different was the prison environment from when you were there, you know, 10 years earlier?
Way different. A lot's changed. You know, there's more bros. There was just a lot changing in them 10 years. 2017 was the scariest I've ever seen the penitentiary, you know, like stand up, you know, blacks and whites standing there, you know what I mean? One of them saying somebody from each race is going to die today, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It changed a lot. Half the guards working the door are affiliated with Bloods, Crips, GDs. Stuff going on in the barracks, you know, you'd sit there and they'd watch while people were getting stabbed or hit with locks, and if somebody could walk down the hallway, they'd flash the lights, like tell them to stop until the guy walked through the hallway, you know, and then go back to whatever you're doing.
Are these guards just paid off, or did they like seeing violence, or why do you think that is? They're
part of the whatever gang that was, but they ain't got a background. They're in there working, you know what I mean? They bring stuff in and out for, you know how it works.
Do you think the people at the top, like their bosses, like the wardens, the assistant wardens, are they like that too? Or do they turn a blind eye? Or is it just impossible to control?
It's impossible to control. Some might, but, some don't go for it. So it's just impossible to control all that. Half the time, I'd make dummy racks and stay out of my barracks for 4 or 5 days, and they wouldn't even come in and count,
That's like what, putting sheets under?
Yeah, and you could tell I wasn't in my rack. I'd be high getting tattooed 4 or 5 barracks down, They'd come through and say, yep, looks like everybody's here, if they even come in.
Wow.
And that's how scary it was.
Is that only because you were affiliated, or is that anyone?
No, that was just Varner at that year, It was just how Varner was running that year. It was just like wide open. Guards were scared to come into barracks. We'd go to chow and grab our trays and walk back to the barracks with them. They try to stop us, like, no, in our shower shoes, homemade shorts, like it was just wide open.
No, you were walking around freely in your shower shoes?
Yeah.
That was allowed?
It's not allowed. They'd pop doors, say 5 to the library, 20 of us roll out, they can't stop us.
No, but I mean by like inmate protocol, because isn't technically you got to always be ready?
No, it's not. We, being affiliated, we're not supposed to go anywhere we can't even walk to the shower without shoes. We can't walk in our shower shoes. If we sit down and, we sit down and on the bathroom, take a poop, we got to have one pants leg out of our, stuff like that. That's for affiliated, that's what we're supposed to do.
Is that because there's a constant threat at all times?
Yeah. You can't defend yourself with both pants legs in, so.
Have you ever witnessed anything firsthand, something if you did have both pants legs in?
Like people getting jumped on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
And who are the biggest rivals that you have to watch out for personally when you're walking around?
Our own people, really.
Wait, you have to watch out for your own people?
Pretty much.
Why is that?
Because it just ain't what it seems. It ain't that picture that it's painted. I've smashed out and cut off more patches in my own bros than I have done anything else in the penitentiary.
And that's because they did something that was deemed a violation?
Supposedly.
That someone above you was telling you was a violation?
Yeah, or somebody affiliated in the same affiliation was holding a grudge against them and called a shot, or a lot of bogus stuff.
How does that make you feel now, looking back on those actions?
I just got a whole different opinion, even the bros, even a lot of my bros right now, they don't like how I feel about it. I just don't think it's what it was when I first got affiliated. It's sad how some of them got done,
How do the guards treat you once you become affiliated? Like one day you're not, and then the next day you are. What does that transition look like?
You get treated different. Some don't treat us so different, but yeah, we get treated different. They'll put us on file and all that, so it's all known. When you're out in population, it's kind of different. But when you get put back there in a Supermax, and you're in a cell by yourself, you get treated way different. I raised a lot of hell in there, throwing piss on guards, when I was in isolation and doing stuff to them. And I didn't think about the long run for me, getting put in the Supermax. For them in population, they can't just pinpoint you out. But in a cell by yourself, man, they tortured me, man. They tortured my mind. I'd have them getting food out of the carts, you know what I mean? Getting everybody's else out of the cart and getting mine off the top. You know, there'd be days I wouldn't even eat back there with them guards, you know, because I know they were doing stuff to my food. Stand at my door talking about putting fentanyl in it. They could put enough fentanyl on my food to kill me if they wanted to, you know, stuff like that.
What did you do to land yourself there at the Supermax?
I had a homeboy that was in a barracks with me, and I took care of him and all that. He got moved to a different prison. He knew my family and stuff. He's from the streets. He called my mom and said I got a phone sucked up, and told her to send it $450, you know, Cash App. She did it because, you know, she thought my life was in danger, and when I found out, I was heated over it. So I got on. I didn't go get a cell phone like I should have, but I got on the state phone, called somebody at the house, had him do a 3-way call over to Cummins where he's at, put a hit out on him to get him stabbed up.
You did that over the phone?
Sure did. That's how mad I wasn't thinking, you know, and they listened to the phone call, and they come in there deep and got me. And the warden told me they labeled me as a shot caller for NAE, and told me I'd never get out of Supermax as long as he was a warden there.
They looked at you as a shot caller?
Over that. I was putting a hit out on somebody, yeah.
Were you?
No, I'm not no shot caller. I was a yard rep, but I wasn't no shot caller for him.
What's a yard rep mean?
You're just over the yard. I mean, you make the final. Everybody votes on something. You make the final decision. You know, the final call on it. You know. So I'd call yard call, and we'd talk about whatever it was, and everybody'd vote on it. Then I make the final decision on.
And how is that different from a shot caller? Are the shot callers the ones that are like in solitary, that can still be passing notes like what we see in the movies and what people talk about?
Yeah, that's the shot callers.
Okay, so I feel like there's a big misconception out there that the shot callers are actually the ones in the yard physically doing everything. I feel like it's mainstream, you know, media has put it out there.
Most of our shot callers are back there locked up, like you do see, and that's why once I got labeled as one, I was back there. There's no coming out for me.
And there's no way to have someone else like say you're not that, because isn't it bad to be labeled as a shot caller when you're not a shot caller? Or no, it doesn't matter?
No, the prison's gonna label you however they want to label you. You know, we can't stop that. So it is bad for whoever's getting labeled as that.
But what about the inmates? Do they care?
No.
Okay. And if you're a yard rep and you go to the shoe, does someone just automatically take your position?
Yes.
Okay.
They will vote another person in.
So a lot of it's like voting and respectful.
Yeah.
And
yeah. We have no rank. Everybody's treated like equal. Now we do got elders. You know, I mean, people been in it 15 years or more, like, are elders. You know, I mean, they get more respect. We get treated with more respect than the other ones. You know, we get kind of listened to, but everything's a vote with us.
How long did it take them to get you after you made that phone call?
About 2 days.
Oh, it did take them 2 days.
Yeah.
So they didn't listen to it till way longer.
No. No. I don't even know if they would ever listen to it, but he was messaging off his cell phone, and I wanted to see what he was saying, you know what I mean? So I had my mom screenshot it and sent it to me in an email. Stupid. When they read the email, it looked like I had a cell phone back there. So that's when they got me and locked me up over a cell phone. They found 2 cell phones and some drugs, but they didn't find all that on me. They locked me up over that, and they go back and listen to my phone call.
Wow.
Not only did I do that phone call, is when I got back to isolation, I did another 3-way call over the same phone. And pretty much called our president, you know what I mean, and told him about it, and then told him what I wanted done and all that. And so they listened to this phone call too.
From solitary.
from solitary.
They still gave you access to the phone. They didn't ban your phone calls.
Not at that point because I ain't been taking a disciplinary court. So but they took my phone away here right after that. So
So the president actually got on the phone with you on a recorded line,
yeah.
and he was in another prison too.
No, he's at home.
Okay.
So so when they come in there and hand me the other disciplinary, I didn't even need to read it. I knew what it was. And they want to take me to disciplinary court. I just told them, no, I'm good. I knew what it was.
Wow.
So
Were your own people upset with you over this whole situation?
no, they weren't upset. They were ready to take action on it themselves. You know, they were upset about the whole situation. They were more upset because the guards made it look like when they come in and got me, they've been wanting to come in there anyways because they knew where 2 cell phones were and they knew where the drugs were. But they've been looking for a reason to come in there. So when they come in there and got me, they come in deep and went and got them 2 phones and the drugs. So it made it look like I told on these 2 phones and drugs. So they were real upset about that, you know what I mean? And for a minute, you know, everything I worked for all these years was in jeopardy over that, you know? And so a couple of them went to the lieutenants and all that. They pulled up all my stuff and seen where I didn't tell. You know what I mean? It ain't in me to do that. And a lot of them knew it, but they still had to look. So that was the main deal with that whole situation.
What happened to the guy you called the hit on? Did he survive or?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's in county jail. He's going to go back to prison right now.
Now, when you're in the SHU and you're affiliated, they don't put you with another cellmate, or you kept separate?
In isolation, they did. But when you make it back to the actual Supermax, you're in a cell by yourself. You can yell out and talk, but I ain't gonna stand on that door and do all that. You know. So you know, it's just then you got to fight for the phone to talk to your family. You know, there's 3 tiers, 26 cells on each tier, 1 phone. It's a homeboy system. Phone day, you stand up, you yell for the phone. They'll take it to the homeboy all day. So, you know, it's like I didn't get to talk to my family back there. It's just a big breaking point in my life. Like, and it might have been what I needed to, because I told myself, you know, the last time, this is it for me. You know, I've been sitting there and through the vents talking to guys, you know, through the vent to the cell next to me, you know what I mean? And a breakfast call, watch them cut them down. You know what I mean? Drag them out, drag their lifeless bodies out of there, man, because some people don't make it back there.
No, do they put all of the people that are affiliated, like by gang, in cells next to each other? Like you guys are all grouped together? Or is everyone spread out? Could you be next to...
Everyone's spread out.
Okay.
It depends on where you go. Like, there's, I think, six, whatever they call it, pods or whatever, you know, 78 in each of them. They just spread us out.
And what about rec?
You can get it. I never went, because why would I want to be taken from one cage to the other? It's brick walls all around it and a fence on the top. You know, I never wanted to be shackled up, walked all the way down there, take a chance to get in trouble. So I never went.
And showers?
Showers were in there with us.
Okay, you had the shower in there.
Yep.
And did you do the rest of your time in Supermax?
Yes, I made pro out of Supermax.
So they never let you walk the yard again after that?
Never.
What would have happened if you went back, if you did get out and went back to the yard?
No, I mean, they would have welcomed me back out there. I mean, they wanted me back out there, you know. They were trying to get me back out there, but nothing would have happened. I don't know if I'd have liked it out there after being back in that cell by myself anymore, you know. It's kind of like... But I never got that chance. I hope I don't ever get the chance to feel that what it's going to feel like to be out there again, so...
share with us the mental, issues that come with being in solitary like that, in confinement like that, for that long period of time. How do you start to deteriorate?
What do you mean by that?
Like you go from, being on the yard,
Yeah.
and you have this sense of freedom to a
Yeah.
certain extent, and then you're put into, basically like a cage where you have no freedom, even worse than you had before. What does that feel like for you?
Man, I felt empty and hopeless back there. Like I told you, there's no point in life back there. It affected me so bad that when I was riding to the bus station, the guard just kept talking to me. You know what I mean? And I just look at him. You know what I mean? And finally, I had to tell him, "I'm sorry. I ain't trying to." I forgot I had to carry on this conversation with anybody. I didn't want to be around nobody. I was isolating myself when I got out. Sometimes the people I was staying with were like, "Hey, you haven't left the house in 3 weeks. You ain't even left that room." You know what I mean? Because that's...
Were you able to still get drugs in there?
Yeah, I did. But my last 18 months, I stayed clean. Longest I've ever been clean since I started. And I got out, and it was just too much on me when I got out, and I started using again.
And it's always been meth every time. That was your drug of choice?
Yes.
In the prison, how do they use meth? Are they lighting it up, or?
Any way you could think of, cutting a can, smoking it off a can. At the end, we're having somebody go get a needle. I didn't even start shooting. That was a turning point in my life. Was 2018 when somebody first stuck a needle in my arm. And at the end, it was just... That's how we did it. And we passed it around like it was nothing. Even bath salt, man. Down there shooting bath salt. It's horrible.
How often do the prison officials charge someone criminally, if with some of these acts of violence? Like, for yourself trying to orchestrate a hit, they're not, referring that to prosecution at all?
Yeah, it was. It didn't go that far, but yeah, I was facing charges over this. I was facing more time. For some reason, I didn't get it. But yeah, now, back when I first went, they wasn't taking things too serious. Now, they take things pretty serious. Getting caught with a cell phone now is 15 extra years.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it across the board fair like that, or do they pick and choose?
They pick and choose.
Okay, that's what they do in the feds too.
Yeah, they pick and choose.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily fair.
Yep. On everything, they pick and choose, so... yeah.
What do you think was the most horrific thing for you about prison that you witnessed and experienced personally yourself?
Being stabbed 4 times and hit with a lock.
You got stabbed personally 4 times?
Yeah.
What happened that day?
I've been up some days. Thought they were talking about me, jumped up, and started running my mouth, just telling them I ain't no weak-ass white boy like they think and all this. They weren't ever talking about me. Some GDs tried to come get me to calm down and said somebody was going to bite that bone. I wouldn't shut up, so they bit that bone. It wasn't life-threatening stabs or nothing like that. I didn't go to the infirmary, because once you go to the infirmary, it's over with for you. It's pretty much a catch-out move. So you just put some whatever on it and go. But that lock, no, I don't want to hit with that lock no more. It knocked a patch of hair out of my front of my head, and then I tried to bend down and pick it back up and put it on there, but But, you know, if they come at me with a lock, I tell them go get the blades.
No, this is a lock in the sock.
But they tie a string to it now, put it around their wrist, and it's pretty deadly.
Wow. Did you get a concussion from that?
I don't know if it was a concussion or not. I know it hurt like hell.
And do they just hit you once, or they continue?
One good hit.
Just one, and that's your message. And
Yeah.
so,
I got one hit, you know, but I've seen people beat to their eyeballs popped out of socket with them locks, you know. But yeah, I got one good hit.
why do you think the prison still provides locks in these Supermaxes?
I don't know.
Like, wouldn't it be better to have people steal than some of the violence that happens with these locks?
Probably. But then the stealing's a whole new, you know, people stealing set riots off and, you know what I mean, somebody stole my buddy, one of my bros stuff, you know what I mean, and it said, we had a 5-6 hour standoff in there, blacks against whites over it, you know, so it could go both ways. And they don't expect the guys to get, you know how guys are in penitentiary. They're going to find a way. They're going to do something. They don't expect us to get them locks off them. They're welded on there. We're going to get them off, though.
Now, the people that attacked you, was that your own people or a rival?
No, it was a rival.
And do you guys automatically retaliate because you're a yard rep?
That depends. You know, that we'd talk and decide on that, you know. Over that, was there retaliation? No, that's my fault. You know, I own that. You know, I got put on, over that, I got put on no chemicals for a while, you know. They didn't want so.
And your tattoos all came from prison?
Most every one of them.
And are those given to you for free because of your status, or do you have to pay for them?
Yeah, most of my affiliated tattoos were free, but a lot of the other ones, you know, I paid for. You know, or I'd buy every tattoo gun there was and hold them. So if somebody wanted a tattoo, I'd say, hey, do a tattoo on me, and I'll let you use the gun to make some money, you know. So
how much does a tattoo gun sell for?
You can get them $50 to $75.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yes, there wasn't many floating around, so if I bought every one of them, I even pay extra for them. That way I had them all. So, but my whole body's done from ankles up. So.
Were you in contact with your family, your sisters, your mom, or your dad while you were in prison?
Yeah, my mom. I stayed in contact with my mom. And a couple other people. My sister didn't really write, or I talked to them, but my mom, you know, she's always been there for me. So.
Was she ever trying to knock some sense into you? You know, talking to you, asking you about?
Yeah, she always has. One thing here recently, it hit me hard is, you know, I just got out. You know, I would never let my mom come visit. So all these years I don't see my mom or nothing like that. And I just got out, you know, and here I am already on the run again, and I'm just facing 90 days in county, you know what I mean? But I don't want to go do it. My mom messaged me. She said, can I get my son back before I die? She goes, I just got you back. And it hit hard. Like, I had her come get me that Monday and drive me down and turn myself in. So, you know, she's always tried not to get me to do the stuff I do, but she's always been there for me. So.
Once you got out of prison this last time, what was that transition like? I know you had struggled a little bit. You were clean, and then you fell back to drugs. Were you working at all? How hard was it for you?
It's hard. And it's hard. I wanted to go back to prison, you know, at that point. You know, it was easier for me at the time than being out here. I never lived that backpack life that trap house to trap house life until this time when I got out, you know. So, you know, prisons was a lot easier for me, you know. So I tried everything I could to not go back, but still, kind of in a way, I wanted to go back. You know.
Do you feel like it would have been easier to be in prison?
Yeah.
Like that the outside world is so hard, especially after spending so many years inside?
Yeah. When I got out, just people seen the difference in me. Like that last sentence, you know, it changed me. I just wasn't the same person. I didn't care about nobody, you know. I felt like back there I learned how to live without love. I didn't need somebody to love me no more, you know what I mean? Because I was back there 3 years without it, like, felt empty and, you know what I mean? I built this wall up for everybody in case something happened to them while I was locked up, that it wouldn't kill me, you know? So.
Do you think you needed to be in that solitary for that long to help you escape from the mentality of gang life?
No. Maybe, I don't know.
Were you over it when you got out?
The whole gang life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Did a part of you feel like it was bad to feel that way?
It is, because I got a lot of love for a lot of these guys. But I know that life's got me nowhere but away from my family and way out of character. Somebody I'm not, you know. At the end of the day, these guys don't care. They're not mowing my mama's yard. They're not taking care of my family. But I'm giving my life up for them. You know, I'm going to prison over them. You know, and they want you to put them before your family, you know. They call a hit on your mama. They want you to go do that hit. You know, that's sad. You know, I still got 1 foot in it right now and 1 foot out of it, you know. But I'm trying to change that.
How do you move on from that? How do you actually change that? What's helping you right now?
Man, just learning who I am. Learning I don't got to be something I'm not. I don't got to run around here and hate people and hurt people to be happy. Just seeing how we do our own people, you know, that's helped me change a lot. You know, when you guys sat down with somebody that's been like a brother to you your whole life and cut a patch off of them or burn a patch off of them, it just takes a part out of you, man.
How do you feel about your affiliated tattoos now?
There's a few I don't want, but there's a few I'll never get rid of. It's a part of me. I got them all over my body. You know, I got big old swastikas all over my legs and stuff like that. I don't feel comfortable like wearing shorts around because I feel disrespectful. Like I'm disrespecting, you know, like I went to Yogi Bear Water Park, you know, and a black family and their kids are swimming and all this, and I go put my shirt back on, man. They don't understand that, you know. They ain't been to prison. They don't understand that. They just think I'm some racist person, you know. Some of them I don't. Some of them I wish I didn't have, but you know, my patch and stuff, I'll always keep it till the day they come for it. You know, which is just a matter of time with them.
Are you worried about that? Do you always look over your shoulder?
That's one of my biggest worries is that, you know what I mean? Because you never know. Half these bros that's been covered up, they never know. Something bogus could be said. You know how it is. Something I say right now could piss them off, you know? But I don't care at that. You know what I mean? If they're going to come get it, they're going to come get it.
Do you think that there are other people like you that are still in it that want to get out?
Definitely.
What do you think is the number one thing holding them back from escaping?
We don't let no cover-ups walk the yard, man. So once that's covered up, we don't walk the yard no more. So you gotta be ready to be done with prison and know you're not going back. That's like what I told Jimmy the other day. I don't know if I'll ever go back. So it's hard for me to be done with this life because, you know, once you're covered up, you're not walking the yard. We don't let cover-ups walk the yard. You'll be in PC or isolation or whatever you want to call it.
What are the steps you're taking now to make sure you don't go back?
To be real honest at this point, I don't know if I'm going back or not. I've got some stuff hanging over my head right now that's supposed to be getting taken care of. We're working on it, and the steps I'm taking, I'm turning it all over to God right now. Just praying about it. And everything seems to be working towards my favor right now on it.
And you're working?
I am working. First time in 10 years.
You're around like-minded people?
Yep.
And people look up to you?
Yep.
I think that's doing a pretty good job of, working towards something.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the power of the people like the Jimmy McGills in the world, because they have you guys have so much love for him and so much impact. Yep. And you could see all that love and energy in a room like last night.
Yeah, definitely.
And, some McLovin-looking ass could relate to you, just a 29-year-old kid from Connecticut. And but I feel you, and I think that's why it's important to share these types of things and have these conversations, no matter how hard it is to have them. Because there's so many people that were in your shoes or are in your shoes now.
Yeah. A few months ago, if you'd told me I'd be sitting where I'm at, in a recovery house or anything, I still struggle, man. I still got one foot in the streets and one foot in recovery, like I said. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to put both feet in recovery right now. I struggle with being told what to do, But Jimmy told me, I've been doing things my way. Look where it got me. Do things his way for once and see where it goes. So
he runs a tight ship.
Yeah. I don't like essays, and it seems like I've been getting hit a lot with them, but and I'll be mad about it.
Yeah, he doesn't even like a pair of drawers on the floor, man.
Yeah. I'll try to talk my way out of it, but
I feel like though we respect that from him because he is someone that was there. He was in prison.
Yeah.
So how can you not respect the person that's telling you to do that who was there because he's lived that? It's not like it's some, say a correctional officer who's never, or a case manager who's never walked that life.
Yeah.
How do you plan to make amends with your family, your immediate family, or anyone you've wronged before you went to prison on that journey to going to prison?
I'm just going to continue to work on myself and prove I'm not that person no more, you know what I mean? And I've burned a lot of bridges. I burned a lot of bridges while I'm still standing on them. A lot of them can't be built back, and I ain't no bridge builder, but I'm going to try to, try to fix everything with them. I don't got much family right now that still talks to me, or all this. But my mom, she stepped back in there strong, and I got Angie, she's the one that saved my life, and she's a big part of my life right now. I love her to death. but she's on me. She's not letting me leave this place. And, you know, so she's like, that's a whole new family that stepped in, and they love me, you know. And like I said, when she come to that motel room and laid down on that trapped out bed that I don't even want to lay down on, they didn't know when they took me to their house if I was going to rob them or what. They don't know me, but they're willing to take a chance on me, you know. And that means everything to me. So, you know, and I got a new family now, that Next Step family, man. They love me. There's more love in that house. Chrissy, all of them, you know. It's just an incredible place, man.
If everything works out for you, which I personally think it will, where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years? What are those goals and dreams that you have?
Man, I want to, it might sound stupid, but I want to start my own, like, a recovery thing. I want to do Ride for Recovery, you know, and get mountain bikes and just go ride trails and hit trails, you know, like, call it Ride for Recovery, you know. I want to help out. I want to give back, you know. I don't know.
It's awesome. Well, Michael, thank you so much for going out of your comfort zone to sit down with me, man. Hopefully I didn't make you too nervous through this.
No, I mean,
you did really well, man. You really did. And I'm glad you did it, and you showed up and you committed to it. And I'm sure our guest in the room will say the same thing, and along with everyone that listens to this episode, because you crushed it, and you're going to change a lot of lives by speaking your story.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Yeah, and thank you to Jimmy McGill for making this happen.
Yep, definitely thank you.